I was thinking this morning about maybe the opportunity I would have to have a conversation with my university professors about the academic research that I developed over the years since 2011. It's been 12 years more or less, and it was investigating the web. Investigating cyberspace was actually the tagline for my first academic project of undergraduate research. Investigating the cyberspace. And what is to investigate the cyberspace? I was interested in discourse analysis, and I don't want to keep going on and on and on about what the academics say about that. I want to come back to my reality, which was an effort that took a lot of paths in my personal life because I slowly became detached from the reality of university-backed research. I'm choosing my words here. University-backed research. University research is one thing. I was doing university research. University-backed research is when you have a body of governmental agencies that say this person will have the support of this agency to conclude his or her scientific research on this given theme. The governmental agency gives you the right and the responsibility to do these things, to propose a theme, to come up with methods and the bibliography and theoretical basis and all of these things in order to provide conclusions for the future of the area of research. In my case, discourse analysis. And one of the things that was most prominent, more or less, was my study of visual discourse. But that was just a part of it. It was a publication that I had that people can access and read, that was published in the college journal, more or less, that was analyzing a Brazilian magazine's cover of the presidential elections. A lot of people didn't like it. A lot of people thought, well, this is kind of shallow. And some people said, well, how dare you? How dare you say anything about our editorial standards? How dare you? Who the hell are you? You're just a college student. And a lot of years later, I started as a blogger. So it's kind of funny to talk about this path because it's not linear like that. I had some disappointments with academic research, and then later on I became a blogger. I had 15 years of experience with teaching English, for example, coming in and out. I've never made a video talking about my experience teaching English in the companies where I went to. I never talked about that. Never ever. And these are my competitors today. So it's a question of ethics, and I don't want to talk about that. But because there are other people involved, and the clients, of course, they have their perspectives, and I simply don't talk about the things that I saw. But there are things that I saw, and there are things that I contributed with. And in interviews, for example, I should be able to talk about the things that I contributed with. And If that were the case, I would be talking about some of the giants of today's English as a second language experience of learning here in Brazil, and uh, it would be a success story. And I just choose not to talk about this. But why this summary? Because today I think we are in a moment of analyzing the needs for curricular change in Brazil and in other countries. What do we need right now? Participatory fluency is one project. You can have many others. And if you look at Instagram, you'll find many other solutions for the general audience, for people who don't know a lot of English. I'm here speaking English directly to the audience, but some people don't know a word, and they're interested in making progress without the effort. They have to have this self-criticism. They don't want to have the effort because some of them are lazy. That's a fact. And also, let's do a little bit of a balancing of things here. They don't have the time. They don't have the time. The people who work in commercial departments realize that people don't have the time to study English, and they want methods that take them by the hand and say, look, this is the word in English, this is the word in Portuguese, this is how you're going to learn for 2 years, and then you're going to start having a look at longer sentences in English, and maybe you're gonna start writing something like a little bit of a 4-line dialogue. This is the method that became the most famous here in Brazil. There's a lot of exercises, there's a lot of debates, there's a lot of approaches, there's a lot of ways of running a class. I'm not saying that everybody's wrong, I'm right, and it all sucks. My method is the best, and you should trust them and buy from me. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that there's a lot of different approaches, there's a lot of different ways of running a class, there's a lot of different companies, there's a lot of needs from students, and one of them is to look at the mother tongue, Portuguese, in this case, right, to be able to reach a different level. But what are the deeper needs of the person who is learning English? The deeper needs are to understand generation conflict, to understand media history, and to understand what the hell we're supposed to do with this generation that says, instead of what are you doing, what you doing, WYD. These are the cues, the clues that I'm giving on my videos on Instagram. I'm saying I'm wasting my time making a video about WYD because that's what people are saying. And how do I know that? Because I talk to people. And why is this a problem? It's not a problem at all. But people want to manufacture a situation where this is a problem. Because how does Evil know that people talk like this? Oh, Evil is talking to teenagers. Isn't that wrong? It depends. Have you seen my conversations? It really depends. Sometimes I heard some stories that I would rather not comment on. Sometimes I said things that I regret. I shared things about my personal life with people who had their own problems, and that was not appropriate. But we learn. We learn. With mistakes, we learn. If I was teaching in a public school and had to deal with 30, 40 students at a time, maybe some of them would be uh, my students of more caution, because I knew about their socioeconomic situation. I would be more worried about their development as citizens, as people in their personal lives. And we have to learn to separate the professional side, the curricular side, from the personal side, the struggle. And this is a question, again, of ethics, but very different from the questions of ethics of dealing with business people, you see. So this is one point that I would like to raise. But what are the discussions that we need to update? Discussions about team behavior, discussions about team conversations, and I've given many clues about that. I've said many times that if you look at phony texts on YouTube, you're going to learn a lot, because these are simulations of conversations of teenagers, and it's just a recorded screen with fake dialogue, but it represents a lot of the conversation of youth. And then it makes us think about what's happening on Discord and Snapchat, on you know, the other platforms, like what happened with Tumblr. Now it's not used anymore, but what could happen with WhatsApp. But in terms of English speaking environments, that would take place mostly on Snapchat, and I don't know what other exceptions there are. Discord, maybe. Uh, you make a friend because you found someone on Instagram who puts their Discord on the bio, and you start a conversation with them, wanting to get to know them, and it doesn't lead you anywhere, but you keep trying. And I don't know if teenagers are doing that. And when I say teenagers, I also include young adults, college students. There are other ways to find people instead of just looking at their Instagram bios, right? You can get to know people coming to events. You come to an event, you meet someone, you say, hey, my name is this, I do this and this for research, and I would like to know what you thought about this presentation. I thought it was very interesting because it approached this and this question. I studied this, so it was very interesting for me because it made me think about the theories of this and this person. So, oh, cool, very cool. I'm doing something similar. Maybe we can talk about this later. Do you want to grab some coffee? Okay. And then you give your contact information, and this person doesn't disappear from your life. It's a more realistic, old-fashioned way of meeting people and maintaining the contact with these people. But what happens these days is people look for people and they add people every day, and there's no conversation to be had. They just have a conversation based on memes. This is another aspect. Conversation based on memes. Uh, if the curricular content doesn't contemplate memes, it's missing the point a lot, because memes have been used for decades as a means of communication. So this is something that's a little bit outdated, but also there's more questions, the questions of technology, precautions, and things like that. So to update these discussions, we need to talk about the culture, we need to talk about what a platform represents, who runs it, how it works, algorithm, biases, and things like that. You know, who produces what, when, how, where. So we need to talk about the media. And guess what? If we talk about the media critically, the media is not going to like it. So a lot of people are against this kind of education. Pause. Even though a lot of people are against this kind of education, it's a necessity. It's a necessity that I hope people are going to realize that is there, and someone is going to have to present solutions. Who says it's difficult? Pick a group of people to talk about this and you will come up with brilliant materials. It doesn't have to be me at all. This is the good news for you. It doesn't have to be me. It could be anyone. It could be anyone. Join a group of people to talk about the media and to talk about how Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Discord, and Snapchat, and Tumblr, and all these things shaped discourse, and go a little bit further and talk about Twitch and TikTok and things like that, YouTube lives and stuff like that. Have a conversation about video calling, for example, and you're gonna have a very rich experience of debating identity, debating self-analysis and self-judgment, questions of psychology, and the pedagogical materials will be better because more people will be working on their areas of expertise. They will have more things to say, and more people working together will work to solve the problems that we need to solve. But we need to update these materials and not rely on the English teacher that says this is the word in Portuguese, this is the word in English. This is completely outdated, and if you think that you need Instagram to do this for you, maybe you haven't heard of Google. Okay, so this is the message for today. Thanks for listening, and I hope you keep following me. The blogs are out there for you to read. Okay, take care.